Okay then, so today we're making a pedal board. My old one was a bit too small and yeah, I just want to expand a bit. As some of you may have noticed from the forum posts, I actually prefer to make my own pedal boards because they're damn sight cheaper than buying them. So here's my old one. So there we go. It's pretty decent. It was designed to fit in a gig bag. Unfortunately now, there's only enough room for maybe one more Moore pedal there. I really want a couple more distortion pedals, maybe a chorus or two or something like that. So we're going to make one, and to do that we're going to use this lot. So obviously we've got a saw for the wood that's over there. Glue for sticking the carpet to the wood. Got the carpet obviously, which just your average carpet tile. Previously on that board I used a Wilkinson's cheapy doormat. I think it was about 88p. Handy hint, if you're looking for something like this, just grab some of your Velcro, take it to the shop and start sticking it to things. If it works, you're in luck. Okay. So yeah, anyway, we've got the glue, got a drill, which doubles as a screwdriver in case I'm really feeling lazy and don't want to use this one. Drill bits just for being nice to the wood so we don't split it when sticking the screws through it. Tape measure for getting all your measurements exactly right. Knife for cutting the carpet, and gig tape because you want to stop the carpet fraying, and I'm too cheap for a more professional solution. So yeah, that's about it. It's going to be a little while before I get started. There will be a bit of a break, not that you'll notice, because well, I'm doing this in the kitchen and the wife's going to notice if I start cutting all of that wood in here. So what we've got here is, let's see if I can get a decent angle. Basically I've just marked out all of the bits on the wood where I need to cut. What we've got is the main board here, so that's going to be the base. And we've got the shelf, and we've got 3 shelf supports. On the old board there are only 2 supports, one at each end. Doesn't really flex in the middle too much, but this one is about, I think it's probably about 10 centimeters longer. So it really is, if I stomp somewhere in the middle, it's gonna crack basically. So yeah, that'd be that. I've marked out, here are the points where we're going to drill holes for the supports. I've got 12mm MDF here. Didn't really want to go any thicker, make it too much heavier. And obviously here and here as well. And up there and there. Oh, and of course in the middle. So yeah, it's going to be a little while before I can do all of the cutting because it's currently pissing it down outside. And I would use the shed, but there's a friggin' rabbit in it. This was not my choice. Okay, so I'm going to sit here patiently and wait for Mother Nature to leave me alone, and then we'll get back on with it. Okay, so this is the wood roughly cut. Well, cut and roughly assembled. Okay, so wire over here, amp foot switch here, a couple of pedals here, probably delay and maybe a boost, tuner, stuff. Okay, so next up, what we've got to do is cover the board. Okay, so for that we are going to need the carpet, and we're going to glue it and then screw it down as well, just so there's absolutely no chance of it lifting. Okay. So first up, if you're sneakily using your kitchen and you don't want the wife to scream about scratch lines in the work surface, just grab a crap bit of wood, lay your carpet down on top, or your doormat, whatever. I've sneakily bought a carpet tile that's exactly the right width, so I've only got to cut it one way. Okay, now don't worry about leaving a little bit over the edge, because we're just going to wrap the edges in gaffer tape anyway. So, grab your knife, and then just score along the carpet. And basically keep going until it's cut through. You get plenty of exercise doing this. Right, so there we go, it's roughly the right shape. Now it's on to the gluing. Okay, let's have a look at the instructions. I can't remember exactly how this works. Okay, so this is one of those glues. Basically you just leave it for, you apply it to both surfaces, and then you just leave it for 5 minutes just to dry a bit. Okay, so 5 minutes have passed. Forgot to turn the camera on for sticking the carpet on top of the bits of wood. Pretty sure you can imagine what happened there, though it's not terribly difficult. So yeah, for this particular glue it's 25 minutes, half hour of constant pressure. So yeah, I'll just take them off cut of wood, like that, shove it on top. And, well, use whatever's around. Strikes me that a full dish rack could do the job, so yeah, see you in half hour. That's roughly 25 minutes, time to remove the dish rack. Right, and off comes the board. So what we're going to do now is screw the carpet in so that it doesn't lift when, you know, if there's any patches where it's not glued. probably best to do this on a board because the screws are a little bit too long and they'll go through all the way if you're not careful. Oops. Right, so next what we're going to do, take your gaffer tape and we're going to cover the edges. This is to stop the carpet fraying, make it look well, okay, it's always going to look homemade, but let's face it, if it ever breaks you're only going to fix it with gaffer tape anyway, so might as well start as you mean to go on. So, start with the shelf first. Now what you want to make sure you do is leave as much, just cover the very edge, okay? You want to leave as much carpet for the Velcro on your pedals to stick to as possible. Okay. Okay, so there we go. Ooh, that looks a bit messy, doesn't it? Right, okay. Yeah, that's okay. We'll be fine. Right, got a board, got a shelf, and I've got these ugly things. Now, obviously, it's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass to cover those in carpet because they've got too many visible edges. So probably the simplest thing is wrap them in gaffer tape. Why not? Voila! Right, next job is screw the struts or the supports to the shelf. So let's line it up. Yep, that's pretty much spot on. And it's usually at this point that you realise you've made a mistake. Had the board the wrong way up, so everything's on the wrong side. I don't want my wire there, do I? Bollocks. Right, here we go again. tighten up all the screws, make sure everything's like you do, and right. There you go, one ghetto pedal board done. Now it took around about an hour and a half in total, including the screw up, so yeah, time to fill it with pedals. Okay, pedal board's finished, let's have a look. The thing to note here, the order of the pedals isn't actually the order in the signal chain, purely because I use things like the phaser more often, so it deserves to be down there right at the front. So what we've got is signal comes in, the Weeping Demon. It's not true bypass, so it's got a fairly decent buffer. Then it's straight to the hardwire, HT6. Yeah, it's polyphonic tuner. I prefer it to the Polytune. Yeah, mileage may vary. From there, the signal comes down here into the Moor 90 orange. If you're ever stuck for a phaser and you want something, I don't know, similar to a script logo MXR phase 90, have that little switch there set to vintage and you're pretty much there. I very much doubt you'll be able to tell the difference. So yeah, it goes from there back up here to the AMT C2. Probably wouldn't use this too much in a gigging situation. It's really there as an amp replacement if my amp dies or I have to run into somebody else's. Then the LPB1, just a straight boost. It's not quite transparent, but it's close enough. Adds a nice bit of oomph to the proceedings. And in the case of running straight into an amp, in the case of an amp dying, that's what I'd use for my solo boost. Whereas that would be more for my my dirty rhythm sound. Okay. Then down on the front row we have the flashback, which would always appear in the loop, and of course we've got amp foot switch. This one is for my Randall MB King 30 watt combo. I haven't actually gigged that yet, but that was the main reason for setting the board, for creating the new board, because there simply wasn't enough room on the front row. The astute amongst you may have noticed that I have some trailing cables here. That is something I've forgotten to bring with me. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. Right, because I don't like plugging into pedals constantly, plugging in, unplugging, just wear and tear on the sockets. Plus, in the case of this one, it would mean pulling the pedal off the board, plugging something in, and running the cable around. I actually decided it might be a better idea to have a multi-core cable with sockets on the end, so it effectively just works as an extension, like that. Okay, so this one is actually stereo, so that would be for an amp foot switch. Then we've got signal straight through to the amp, to the front of the amp, here. And we've got the effects send and effects return. So the idea is, this was made by the good folk at Cable, by the way, K-A-B-L. A link will be in the description below. So yeah, the simple thing is, it's just a case of plugging straight in. It saves a lot of time at gigging time. So you just plug straight in there, and in there, and the effects return. And there we go, done. That's all your cabling done. And then obviously at the other end we have some hanging cables. Straight for the plugs. They go straight in the other end. Okay. And then of course we've got power. So there we go. That is the new pedal board, built in about an hour and a half, minus the mucking around trying to work out what layout works best. You'd think I would have thought of that before I started. Okay, so there we go. That's how to build a pedal board. Go away and make your own.